Hey all, welcome back to the latest podcast. Just start off with a little bit of a story. That's first thing is I have new lightings on here, so I'm not sure if it's working right. Hopefully, it's an improvement. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But we're trying it out for this one, and I see how it goes. But little story to start off with. A few days ago, I was checking the sheep and doing a few bits with the tractor, and those sheep obviously were in the wrong field. Naturally enough, horn sheep, you need great teachers with them. So I was going up the roadway and I was trying to get them to go one direction. They want to go a different direction. And the next thing you hear, clatter bang. I thought, what's after happening? I looked to my left hand side and I no longer had a door on the tractor. So luckily enough, it was just the hinges came off. The door didn't smash. It's the second time the door has come off. So it's unfortunate, but look, I think I'll get fixed fairly handy enough. But look, it just shows how simple accidents happen, And I myself and Belle was there, and I was focused on Belle and on the sheep, and I hadn't the door shut properly. And look, could have been a lot worse, but it's a nuisance. But with this rain and all that we're having now, it's not nice going the road. But look, you just make the most of it. But it will be sorted soon. But it's just, I suppose, the highlight. It's funny as what happened, but how easy it can happen, and I'm sure it won't be the last time it'll happen with me. I have a tendency for these things to happen, and usually when they happen once, the things happen in lots of trees. So we shall see. We shall see. So today's podcast is kind of not so much about sheep, but kind of life in general, and kind of some stuff myself and Yvonne have been up to recently. And one of the things I done was I gave up social media for I think 6 or 7 days. And the reason I done it was I just wanted to take a little bit of a break, because we're doing the podcast, doing the YouTube and all that, and you're putting stories up on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. I just said to myself, right, people are looking at me all the time. I need to take a little break from it, and I need to give them a break from me. So it actually was quite nice to have a little break from it. And I was glad to get back into the podcast and YouTube and all that, but still, it was nice not to have to put up reels and have to put up stories, not to be thinking about what you're doing. So it was a nice little break, and it was good for the brain to refresh. We also had a few days away on holidays in it was Mallorca or Malaga, one of those sunny places. Just went for a few days. It was nice to get away. It was nice to get a bit of sun. But it's also a sign when you're getting older that when you're doing the slides and all those sort of things, and after about 3 days of it, and your body is there going, "Oh, lads, what have you done?" Because you're using muscles that you've never used before in your life. Your body's in pain, and I have to say I was glad to get home. But it was an enjoyable break. But definitely, I found the slides and the swimming took it out of me. So I think before we go for the next break, I'll have to do a bit of exercise training. But it just goes to show, when you get a bit older, you do need to maybe look after yourself a bit better. But it's also a thing that you have to get them breaks. Like, you need to recharge the batteries. But the one that lost out on the holidays was Belle, and when we come back, she cried when Yvonne went through the door to see Yvonne, and oh lads, how excited the dog was to see the child for after being away for a few days. Obviously with us all, but especially with Yvonne, and she kind of for a few days afterwards never left her side, and kind of one way it was hard to leave her behind, and then another way it's kind of like you need to get a break from her too. But it was so nice to see the reaction between the two of them when you come home, so. It was a good little thing. So recently, we went to a Munster and Leinster match, and now there's a flip side to this as well. Levain sports Leinster, I sport Munster, and obviously Munster won, so it was a great occasion for me, not for her. But she was there for the occasion and to enjoy it and to enjoy the spectacle. I was disappointed with the spectacle. I think Leinster fans in general kind of let themselves down because there was much of an atmosphere in a shoebox as what they brought to that match. It was shocking. They were sitting there in their seats waiting for things to happen on the pitch. There was no singing, no dancing, no cheering the team on hardly where we were, and it was quite a dull atmosphere. And it didn't bother Elaine, and obviously Leinster were losing, but it was something that I just know that God, it's a if this match is in Thomond Park and Munster were losing, there's no way that the Munster fans would be as quiet. So I was a little bit disappointed with the Leinster supporters. But also on the flip side, I'd say there was an awful lot of supporters there who were just there for the night out, because there was a family beside us, and the woman was originally from Leicester, and she was living in Spain, and her whole family were over for a week, and they were there to watch the match. Start off cheering for Leinster and end up finish cheering for Munster, like, so. How would Leinster supporters win, like, So, look, they just wanted a night out and see a game, so kind of it's a flip flop. You have a big occasion like that, but you didn't have probably the hardcore Leinster supporters there, and that But the other thing is a little bit of rugby, like, because Yvain, it's bringing into it, like, Yvain plays the rugby in Rathdrum, and like, she's been playing a few games, and it's just really interesting to see how the coaches interact with the kids. Like, okay, they help them, but they coach them. And what I mean by that is, when they're playing the game, one of the coaches is the ref. If they do something wrong, he tells them what they've done wrong. If the opposition does something wrong and it's a free against them, he tells them why. If they've done something wrong 2 or 3 times, he'll stop the play, he'll bring them around, and he'll show them where they should be standing. And it really helps them. Now, Ratchdrum have been winning a few games and like that, but look, it's not really about winning, it's about playing and playing the right way. And the opposition then gets a bit narky when they're losing. Instead of them realising, going, well, here's a man who's coaching a team that's actually helping your team as well. It's great to see. And like, I was watching the girls coming on and off the field. They're not just told go on in. They're told you go in, you're playing such and such a position, and also you're playing. The girls beside you were told to communicate with you and talk to you, tell you what's right, what's wrong. And I was watching them. The girl was coming on. A couple of girls were coming on off the subs, and what they were doing was they were explaining the game to them, what was happening as they were coming on. So not only are they coaching them in training, not only are they coaching them in the pitch, but they're coaching them going on. I've watched subs going on the Gaelic and different sports, and they don't get the same level of coaching. Like, I just thought to myself, the interaction that with this group that they have, well, the group, not the most talented group or anything like that, but the way that they're being taught and told how to do things, I just thought it was a great way about people, and it definitely, see what vein, it encourages people to be involved in the sport, and definitely for me to go and watch the games. I have to say now, I've enjoyed watching the few games they've played. Now you do worry about injury, you do worry about being tough, like, but I just thought, what, for their age group, their coaching and their involvement in the sport, I thought it was just really nice to see. So I just wanted to bring that into the podcast, that, like, life it's not just farming, it's not just sport, it's everything that makes the world tick. And the problem is we just don't enjoy enough of it. Like, in morning, Yvain was playing the last game, the rugby, it was a cold morning, and we had a cup of coffee on the sideline, and you're there watching it. And look, I got a few laughs, she missed a few tackles and all that, like, it's good, like, but I just thought, sometimes when you sit back and you listen, go, like, well, I need to do that more often, or yeah, I need to get these jobs done, but you need to sit back, enjoy life, and actually take it all in. Because I think sometimes us as farmers and people in general, we don't take in enough in life. We don't enjoy it the way we should. We just go through the motions and get through it, where we should actually just sit back and say, hey, chill tonight. It's the weather's crap. Let's make the most of it. So just a couple of little things now about sheep. Um, Recently on Instagram and Facebook, I done asked me a question on my story, and some people put in Suffolk v Cheviot, your opinions, YouTube podcast, you make any money, Mule out the Lanarks, Cheviot or Swaledale, and then going up in numbers. Yeah, how many sheep do you lamb? So going up in numbers, so plan to go up in numbers next year a little bit in the sheep. Get to a stage and that'll be just stopped. That's it. Cheviot or Swaledale, I think one thing I said was I would prefer the Cheviot because we have a better market for the Cheviot. Yes, there is a market for the Swale, but what sales I've been in, it just hasn't registered yet. And I think the Swale is bringing sheep, but unfortunately, we're not getting the bang for your buck that you want, and it's unfortunate, but look, it is what it is, like. Then the mule out Lanark, and what I said was that I would think the mule out Lanark is your quite essential your show sheep, your top end sheep. Don't know if they're the farmer sheep because I don't know if they'd be quiet enough. This Lanark yow is quite a vibrant yow, you could say, but definitely no. I would like the Lanark yow if she was quieter, but she's not. Any ones I've ever had any deals were not quite like so. That for me is a big strike against them. YouTube and podcast, do we earn any money from it? No. You'd have to be an awful lot bigger than me than to be earning money at. Yes, we are growing, and yes, I thank everyone for the support. And maybe one day Vane will be earning money from it, but at the moment, no, definitely not. And then Suffolk v Cheviot. Well, the Suffolk Cross Yow v Cheviot, it's horses for courses. You wouldn't really run the Cheviot down the lowlands, as I said. But I was talking to a guy in Tullamore show, and he ran the Charlie Ram on Cheviot Jows. And he said, great lamb to the factory, great kill outs. I'm very happy with them. For the Suffolk Cross, will give you a few more twins, and lambs should go a bit quicker. But and the higher the ground, the Cheviot will be a better sheep. But like I suppose it's horses for courses, and this is one of the things with the sheep breeds too. It's not so much the breed of the sheep; it's the breed of the sheep that suits your farm, and that's what's really important. It's what you like looking at, what suits your farm, and what you can get a bang out of your book, and that's so. It's important, like. So our Dorset sheep are in at the moment. The twins are in, and the singles are getting fed oats. It was a bit slower getting the twins in. Didn't realise time was ticking on, and they're not as strong as I would like, but we'll get them there. Have a few weeks, not quite due yet. We're due to scan our next batch of sheep fairly soon, and of course Chips is gone, so hopefully, fingers crossed, that Chips is going to be a lamb. So when this has been uploaded, we'll actually be scanning them and we'll know what's happening. But I'm recording it, I don't know, and I'm hoping she's in lamb. Just for Elaine's sake, that it'd be good for her if she was. And plus, with chicken nuggets has arrived, and the two of them are getting on well. So the little thing on chicken nuggets, and I was keeping this to the end. We went to Kell Suffolk's and Malloy Suffolk sale in Mead, and it was a sale in the shed at home, in the home shed, and purebred Suffolks. So we went up with the intention to buy, and with the hope to buy, not the certainty that we were going to buy. So we went through the pens of sheep, and we went through them again, and we went through them again. and I picked out different ones, and Elaine picked out different ones. So what we were looking for was either twins or a yo lamb, and I didn't want a single. And the reason I didn't want a single was because I'd be afraid that lambs would get too big in the yo, and then if something happened then with lamb and that, you could have problems because it happened with me before. So I said, right, if I could get a set yo with a set of twins, I'd be happy with it. So we did. We got chicken nuggets, as Elaine calls her, and she's from Malloy, Suffolk. But she was €1,200. She's good, yo. She's carrying twins. She's due the start of January. And I suppose, as regards the sale, it was a good sale, but it wasn't just it was a good sale because the sheep were good. The people were there to buy. There was tea, coffee, sandwiches, biscuits, sweets, whatever you wanted was there for you. When we went up to pay, it was all sorted in a few seconds. So I was there waiting there for it to sort out. There was a ring. It was up a little higher. There's a little video on YouTube of the ring of it where we were. And I just thought for a setup for a sale, the way it was run, the help, getting the sheep out, getting home. And I think it was a brilliant setup. It was a brilliant whole way about it. And it was so easy to go in around and pick what you want because there was loads of people there. But because everyone was there arriving at different times, you had loads of time to go back in and check. And people weren't getting in and running sheep around the pen. That was something I was watching. People were very gentle with the sheep. They were paying attention to them. They weren't running them around and all that. But there was loads of people there, and I just thought for a sale in a shed from a home shed, I just thought it was a brilliant setup. The way it was done, how it was organised, and the easiness of it all. And it's a credit to them, to both Suffolk groups, that the way they had it, and it would make you envious of them, being able to do that in their own yard, have such a good thing done. It's not that I'd be envious that it's something I want to do, but I'd be envious in the sense that just isn't amazing that maybe Yvain could do it, down the line. But I just thought to myself, there was no stone left unturned. Yes, to the quality of the sheep. Yes, they had the buyers. But they had the tea, the coffee, there's much tea and coffee as you want. Sweets, pens. There was a meal company there to sell their meal. Obviously the prices of the sheep was decent. I don't know if you describe them as crazy prices, but I would definitely say they were decent prices. But it was a real good feel factor trip, and I'm not a Suffolk breeder, and I don't know whether we ever will be or not. But when you walk into a yard and you feel at home from minute one to the minute you left, you walk in good form, you walk out in really good form. I thought it was a credit to both people who were showing the sheep and that. So that's today's podcast. Thank you all very much for listening, and hopefully it's enjoyable. And please make sure and spread the word because we're over a year now and we'd like to grow from strength to strength. So thank you very much, everyone.